Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Erica, and today's video is a collab with Christine. Now, of course, I will have Christine's channel, Life with Christine, and her video linked in my description box. I highly recommend going to her channel if you haven't yet already and subscribing. You will love her. Now, this is our very first one-on-one collab. We did take part in the Rocker Chick group collab together, which was an absolute blast. And I think Christine is just awesome. She is beautiful. She's talented. She's hilarious. And she does a lot of different things on her channel. She has a lot of really well-rounded content. And when she got a hold of me not very long ago on Instagram and asked me if I would like to collab with her, I was so honored and so happy to say yes. So we have a palette in common that is one of my favorite palettes that I own in my collection. And that is the Nomad Berlin Underground palette. And this is probably in my top 3 palettes that I have in my collection. I have a pretty large collection. If you guys have seen my palette collection and declutter videos, you know, I got a lot of palettes. This is definitely my favorite Nomad palette. Now, unfortunately, this is no longer available, which is such a bummer. And I don't really like to use palettes on my channel that you can't just go out and get. But when Christine said that she had this palette, there's no way I could turn down doing a collab using this. It's been a little while since I've used this palette. I have used this a couple other times on my channel before, but I just love the color story and I love the consistency of the shades, the formula. Now, I would say that the majority of the shades in this palette are more satiny in consistency, which that would not be a palette I would normally go for. You know, I like mattes, I like true shimmers. But I'm telling you right now, all these shades work so beautifully and they work so well together. They apply beautifully, they blend beautifully, and the color story in and of itself is probably my favorite part of this palette. I just love the earthiness, the grunginess, the vampiness, the sexiness, the depth, and there's also some light in this palette too. I mean, it's just gonna give you, in my opinion, everything you could possibly want in an eyeshadow palette. So if you guys are ready to watch my look come together using the Nomad Berlin Underground palette for my collab with Christine, then you know what you gotta do. You gotta sit back, you gotta relax, and let's get started. Alrighty, let's get started with this look for my collab with Christine using the Nomad Berlin Underground palette. Now my brows are done and this eyelid is primed in the P. Louise eyeshadow base in Rumor 01 as always. So let's look at this baby. And I think what I'm gonna do, I want to create a gradient across the lid. I love to do that with this palette. And I'm going to use this shade here. This is called Club Knocked. This one here that's called, I think it's called Love Parade. Oh, my eyesight. And then this one here, it's spelled T-A-C-H-E-L-E-S. Tacheles. I don't know how you pronounce that. And I could be totally butchering that. I probably am. And then we have this one here, and this one's called, is it Helden or Hayden? Helden, I believe. I'm gonna use that one too. And then I think I'm gonna put this as my inner corner shade. And this one's called Kreuzberg. I love that shade. So let's start off with this one right here and put that in the outer V area or the outer part of the lid. Let me grab a brush for that. When Christine told me that she had this palette, I was like, because it's just so much fun to use this palette. So much fun. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of start out here and lay this down, just a kind of a strip of this down, which it's going to look funky at first, but I just trust the process. I always have to remind myself to trust the process because it usually ends up looking okay, you know? Some of my looks can be a little bit jankified, but you know, we'll see. This palette is so easy to use and so fun to use. All the shades are just beautiful. And I remember when I first opened this up though, I was like, they're mostly satin shades. That's weird because I just never really had a palette that had so many satin shades in it, you know, but after using it, I was like, okay, I'm never gonna complain about that again, or at least with this palette, I'm not gonna complain about it because it's just awesome. Okay, so I just kind of want to start the shape of the look, you know, just kind of, I don't know, kind of, I'm not really like blending, I'm just kind of like packing it on, I guess, and then I'm just gonna kind of smush around the outside here just to make it look a little bit more blended. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone for right now. I might go back in and mess around with that edge there, but for now I'm just going to leave it. And I'm going to go into this shade right here, and this is called Love Parade, this kind of purpley shade, purpley tone shade, and put that next to the black shade. All right, let's lay this down right here. And if you guys haven't gone to Christine's channel, I really highly recommend doing that. She is just awesome. She's so fun. And I noticed that her notifications were set to personalized again. I don't know why that keeps happening to me. I don't know if that's happened to anybody else, but I will go in and change their notifications to anytime I subscribe to somebody, anytime. I always change the notification, the bell to all, every single time. And I start noticing that like I'm not getting people's notifications and I think, well, are they not filming? Or, you know, like I just don't see them. And I'll go and it's now been set back to personalized, which, you know, you only get like a handful of their notifications when it's like that. I don't understand. It's so annoying that they can't just leave stuff alone. I'm like, you don't need to change my notification preferences here, folks. And I don't know who does it. Like, I don't know if there's some like, I don't know, person that's just like, I can just see like this mad scientist looking person just clicking off the notification bell on everybody's accounts. Probably not happening like that. And I'm just going to try to kind of make that look a little bit more blended right there. It's got a pretty harsh edge, so I think I will just take, what I'll do is just take a clean brush and just kind of go around the outside edge there after I'm done, but I love that shade. So now let's lighten it up a little bit. Now that we've gotten so dark and grungy, let's get it a little bit lighter as we go across the lid. So I'm going to go into this shade here, and again, that's called Tacheles. I don't know how to pronounce it. And I am going to use one of my brushes from Temu to do this. And I don't really feel like I need to spray anything yet. I don't know. We'll see. I might regret that. And this is going to go right here. And this is a little bit more matte in appearance. It's not quite as satiny as the other. Oops, I kind of took that over a little too far. It's okay. I'll fix it. This isn't quite as satiny as the other shades are, but I don't know that it's a true matte either, because I do see a little bit of a sheen there. It's just not as sheeny as the other two shades I've used. And the black shade, you know, the black shade's more matte, I would say. I don't know. I've never thought that before, but today it looks more matte. I don't know. But it's fine. I love it. I think it's great. And I like to try to just kind of feather the shade that I'm putting down over the shade that's behind it, you know, just so it looks more of like a gradient. That's my goal anyway. Okay. And I also love Christine's Instagram account. She does a lot of really fun, like, reels. Really fun. She's really talented. I need to take a page from her book and, like, try to be a little bit more creative with my reels and my shorts. I am doing a top 5 series, short series, just because I thought that'd be kind of fun. But Christine does, like, where she has music and she does a look, and it's really fun to watch her reels. I love her. So now I'm going to go into this shade right here, and that's called Helden. I can't see my glasses on. I think is it Helden? I think so. I'm going to put that towards the front part of the lid. And I think what I'm actually going to do is just clean off this brush from Temu a little bit here, just get that red shade off. And then I'm just going to go into that shade because I really like this brush. It's kind of stiff, but it's also kind of like fluffy too. I don't know, kind of weird. Let me grab I am going to spray this because I'm afraid this is going to end up all over the place. And I want to keep this pretty contained to just that front part of the lid there. So I'm going to put this down right here, and I am going to pull my lid over a little bit because as you age, your lids get a little bit more saggy, not quite so taut anymore. Okay, and I am just going to try to kind of smush that over the red a little bit. Not a lot because I don't want to swallow up the red, but I do want to make sure that that's mushed together well. And it usually takes just a little bit of time, you know, because the shadow kind of has to warm up on your skin. My shoulder itches. And then it just kind of looks a little bit better, you know. At first it looks like, what? No. But then if you let it sit for a minute, it usually, you know, warms up and it's fine. But, ooh, that looks really cool. I dig it. I'm digging it, man. And I think what I will do too is go back in with my finger with that red shade, the Tuchelis shade, or I'm not sure. God, if somebody knows how to pronounce that, can you like phonetically spell it in the comment section so I can learn how to say that? But I am going to go back over with my finger and just kind of make sure that's a little bit more meshed together. So taking that on my finger, just a teeny tiny bit, you don't need very much. And then just kind of, yep, there we go. That's the sweet spot, baby. That's the sweet spot. Yeah, cool. So what I am going to do though is I'm going to grab a clean brush here. Where is it? Just this fluffy brush right here. And I'm just going to kind of go around the outside edge just a little bit, not much pressure, just a little bit, just to kind of make that a little bit more blended looking, not quite so harsh. And that's what I love about these shades, is that they just blend so easily. Like you don't have to fart around with them hardly at all, you know, just a little bit of pressure, a little bit of circular motion, and you can blend it, you know. There's some shades where it's like you can pay them and they still won't blend. But that's never going to be the case with a Nomad palette ever. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done with this eye look. Trust the process, like I said. Once I get my other eye done and the rest of my makeup on and my lower lash line's done, I think it's all going to come together very nicely. So let me go do that, and I'll come back and show you how everything came together. I'm back. This is the finished look, and I bet you were not expecting me to come back with a black lippy on, now were you? And I'll show you what I used here in just a minute. And of course, I will show you the eyeshadow palette. We'll talk about it again. I'll express my deep love and appreciation for that eyeshadow palette. But before I do that, let me show you just a few things I used for my finished look today. For my upper lid liner, I used the one I got from Temu from Yankina. This is the 3D Waterproof Precision Liquid Eyeliner. I love this. This is my favorite felt tip liner now in my collection. For my lower waterlines, I lined them with the NYX Professional Makeup Epic Wear Liner Stick in gold plated. I felt the gold would look nice with the gold that's on my eyelids, my eye look. For my mascara, I used the Tarte Gifted Mascara that Jen from Jen Beauty sent to me. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite mascaras I've ever used in my entire life. And then my lippy is from Lime Crime. I picked this up with the gift card that my son gave to me for Christmas. And I kind of forgot I had it, honestly. I was pulling that palette off of my shelf, and I have the box for this up on the shelf because I think the box is super cute. And I was like, oh my God, you've never used that black lippy. So I'm really glad that I pulled this out and used it today. It is something to get used to. I just don't wear black lippies very often. And I really wish that I had a black lip liner, because when you use a black lippy, if it's not perfect, you can tell that it's not perfect. So I do need to get myself a black lip liner. I don't know that I could make it perfect with a black lip liner either, but I really do like the feel of this liquid lipstick. I've heard great things about Lime Crime lippies, and I'm really glad that I got this one, because I love it. I think it feels nice, and I think it looks nice too. It's just not exactly perfect. So now let's talk about the eyeshadow palette, the Berlin Underground palette from Nomad that Christine and I used today. So happy that we both had this in common. I really do like my look. I don't know that it's my favorite look I've ever done with this palette. I kind of wish that I had avoided using this shade. I wish I just used this one, and that one on the lid, because I felt like that one just kind of made it look a little bit too murky. Maybe not, I could be wrong. As I was doing the other eye, I just kind of felt like this shade really murked it up a little bit too much for my taste, but maybe not. You guys let me know what you think about that in the comment section. I did put this shade here called Kreuzberg under my brow and in my inner corners. And I did use this shade, this shade, this shade, and this shade, all 4 shades on the lid. Those are all on the lower lash line too. Started off with this shade towards the outer part, and then use this one, and this one working into the inner part of the lower lash line. I am so happy that I have this palette, and I know it's no longer available, and it's such a bummer that it's not available anymore. And I hope maybe they'll re-release it. I doubt it. I don't think they ever, once they are done with something, right? No, they don't usually, no brands really ever re-release it again. But I just have this fantasy that maybe they'll do that again, because I know a lot of people that did not get this palette that really wanted it. And I don't really understand the philosophy behind that. Maybe this just wasn't selling good. If you guys know why brands just discontinue palettes and don't sell them anymore, we could talk about that in the comment section too, please, because I'm just trying to wrap my head around that concept. Why do that? I don't get it. But I just love this. I really do. It's such a beautiful color story, great formula, great quality. I will keep this palette forever and ever. So much fun to use this again today. I had a blast. Like I said at the very beginning, of course, I will have Christine's channel, Life with Christine, and her video linked in my description box. If you guys have not yet gone to her channel and watched her content and subscribed, I highly recommend doing so. She is just awesome. So happy that she and I were able to do our first one-on-one collab together today. And I cannot wait to watch her video and see what shade she chose. It's so fun to do collabs like this where each person can pick their own shades, because I'm always thinking, what if we choose the same shades, or what if we choose completely different shades? I don't know, I just think that's really fun. And of course, I would love to know if you guys have this palette, what you think of it, where it ranks in your collection. It ranks very highly in my collection. Favorite Nomad palette, but at least in my top 3 palettes in my collection. So we can chat about that in the comment section too. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you are new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and please comment down below in the comment section, because I love to chat with you guys there. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video, but in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and I will see you soon. Bye!
Drop it.